Hey yo guys, I'm back here to give you a couple thoughts on a couple of things. First off, tonight is the big premiere of a new show for the world of MMA, I guess, as MMA now gets to take a chance on doing what boxing did with the 24/7 series, as we see UFC Countdown, where you get to see, it's a 3-week show with George St. Pierre and BJ Penn to see how they're training, preparing, and what they do in the meantime between their fight, which takes place January 31st, Super Bowl weekend in Las Vegas. So I'm really looking forward to that. If you haven't been able to find the... I have to also say, if you haven't been able to find the UFC 93 Countdown, I hope you get your hands on it. They actually do a pretty good job of hyping up Henderson and Rich Franklin. They do a good job of showing, Dan Henderson's past and, his career credentials back from Pride. But they really don't focus as much on that fight as you would, considering it's going to be the main event. They mainly focus on, which I have to say, Mark Coleman is the star of this whole thing. When they show, some of that he did, they show the fight that he had with Shogun back in Pride when he broke his arm, and they show the stuff from backstage where Mark Coleman cut this incredible promo that half the guys on the undercard of WWE and TNA couldn't even do. It was just incredible, and Mark Coleman just came out like a star in this whole thing. That fight to me is one of the fights I think that, the casual fan watching would probably not be that interested in, but the UFC did a strong job building that fight up, where some people may think, is that going to be the main event? That thing got, basically the whole show, if you ask me. Hopefully you're able to find it somewhere. The UFC kind of uploaded portions of it in a 10-minute YouTube video, but you have whole 1-hour show. I thought it was extremely well done, and I'm disappointed that Spike didn't pick up on it. What the hell were they airing last night? CSI again? Really? Come on. CSI again. But really, I came here to make this video to, just talk on a couple of subjects here. One, if you haven't seen as well the movie The Wrestler, go out of your way and do it. It's going to be hard for you to find, probably, legal measures. It's going to be hard for you to find, see it in theaters. So far, the film's grossed about $3 million, which, for a film that really didn't have, a distribution deal up until Fox Searchlight jumped in, that to me is really amazing. And considering, it was number 21 of the top films last weekend, and, it's not even a because it would probably, if it had a stronger distribution deal and was in every theater instead of select theaters and select markets, then this movie would probably be, top 5 or probably top 5. I think that's where I would go with that. But to me, I think this movie is very good. It's definitely the best and most accurate description of professional wrestling, and Mickey Rourke does a tremendous job of playing. In a way, he's kind of playing himself, because Mickey Rourke is playing a down-on-his-luck wrestler who, was this big star in the 80s and, worked a big feud with a guy by the name of the Ayatollah, that even main evented a Madison Square Garden show back in, the late 80s. So he's basically playing himself, as Rourke's career was pretty big in the 80s. He had this big downfall in the 90s, and, now he's making this comeback now. He even at one point wanted to leave the profession. To me, Rourke to even be in this movie is incredible, as the fact that, filmmaker Darren Aronofsky wanted to always get Mickey Rourke. They couldn't come to a pricing agreement, so they eventually went with Nick Cage. I shouldn't say they couldn't come to a pricing agreement. Aronofsky couldn't afford Rourke, so then they went with Nicolas Cage, who actually signed on, and, he went to a Ring of Honor show, but he probably saw Ring of Honor and yeah, there's no fucking way I'm doing that. This is back in, the Gabe book, and probably saw Briscoe's match or something of that nature, and, there's no fucking way I'm doing that. So he abandoned the project, and Aronofsky and Rourke got back in contact and were able to do the film, which was good. Only problem was it cut the film's budget from $19 million to $6 million, which in the film world, that's huge. In any world, really, that is huge, I should say. So that did suck, but Rourke did a great job. His character is basically, while the main character you can say is basically his main parts come from, parts of from Beyond the Mat of Terry Funk and Jake Roberts, but in a way, the broken down aspect in the wrestling scene is basically anyone from the 80s who's still doing independence, like Greg Valentine, Tito Santana, Marty Jannetty to an extent, anyone of that sort who, they're just doing these independents just to survive, and that's all they really have, because, that wrestling world's the only world where they're going to be loved, and the real world treats them like crap. So I just thought that was pretty intense. The Jake Roberts part in this film is, the fact, his relationship with the daughter, which is a clear scene right from Beyond the Mat. So Aronofsky may in an interview said that he didn't watch Beyond the Mat, or may have said that he watched it, but he said that the idea for that part was all his. Well, I don't buy that at all. It's clearly you've seen Beyond the Mat, and that's where you got that from, clearly. But I thought that was very well portrayed. I can't remember the actress who played Mickey Rourke's Randy the Ram, I should say, is that daughter. I thought that was pretty strong there. She did a good job, and eventually gets kicked out of her life. But then, I just thought it was so well done. I thought the shooting of it was well done. Like, Rourke would go from side to side, the camera would move. You get this, these great sounds of, especially if you're from the New York, Philadelphia area, you're going to identify with that aspect of it. But I just thought, when he walked, one of the best parts of this movie is, Rourke he works at this, supermarket, and he gets to work in the department there. So you see him walk down the steps, and it's like he's going through the tunnel to the gorilla position, and you hear the crowd just sound bits going, ram, 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 and then he goes through the curtain, and there's no reaction because it's the real world, and no one will know who he is. The end of the movie will throw you off. I'm not going to spoil it, but if you have not seen it, the end of the movie will probably trip you out. You'll be like, what the hell? I mean, that's what happened when I was in the theater. People were like, that's it? That's how you're going to end this movie? It was a weird way to go, but I understood. I mean, at the end of the movie, when he's at the Ring of Honor show, he feels like that's the most moment he's living, so the highest he's living, that's the greatest moment of him there, so that's what I thought about that. A really strong movie. I think Marissa Tomei does a really good job. I mean, she also got nominated for a Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actress, but she didn't get it. I thought she did a really good job. I mean, her character of Pam / Cassidy, or Cassidy / Pam, the stripper, mirrors Rourke in that type of aspect of, she's kind of a broken down person who's just trying to struggle and get the bills paid. So that's where that would go there. But this movie, it's gained so much critical acclaim. I mean, you've had I'd say this is the best movie he's, I think, ever seen, so that's pretty strong there. Just Rourke got the character. I mean, this was like, he's even said this was the most motivated he's been. He said that, if he wanted to play a wrestler, he had to act like one. Apparently, he's noted that he's took a few steroids, but I don't believe it's steroids, maybe just, some muscle supplements, per se. But really, a strong movie. Definitely go out there and check it. And, Mickey Rourke just got a Golden Globe for Best Actor. He should be the forerunner going into the Oscars, and hopefully he gets it. Anyways, what else do I want to make mention of? I guess I want to make mention of how stupid Antonio Bigfoot Silva is, because he's apparently going to get banned forever in the state of California, at least or may lose his mixed martial arts fighting license. So that's not a big deal. That's not really good for him. To me, I don't know what Antonio Silva was thinking. Clearly, you could have just sat there, waited out, and probably got cleared within 6 months to a year. You'd have been able to make money training people in your gym, in a gym of some sort, in Brazil or in the States of, maybe in Nevada. That's where you could have put your gym, trained with Wanderlei or something like that. No, you had to go and fight over in Japan on a show that was just terrible. I mean, you don't really need to fight with Sengoku. To me, I don't know how much legs are left in Sengoku, especially with the state of, the economy, and especially how it's hitting Japan, if you look at the pro wrestling aspect of it, with Noah losing their deal. I don't know how much longer it's going to be, so I don't know why you couldn't have waited this out, and you'd have been there probably within, maybe late this year, late 2009 or early 2010, probably got signed with the UFC as, a big, missing component of their heavyweight division. I don't know why you didn't have to do that. You could be gone forever, and, I don't know if you really took steroids. I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, it's been proven that way, but, the defense case, brought against that, oh, he didn't take it, has been pretty weak. They showed, like, in the one court testimony that he didn't take steroids from a test from September the 3rd, it took place July 26th. I mean, dude, that doesn't prove anything. That was 5 weeks after the fucking fight. That doesn't prove a thing. But yeah, I mean, that's one thing I wanted to make mention of there. Thought that's pretty stupid. And I guess on the topic of steroids, over the past couple weeks, there was the whole Waxman documents being released on the report of steroids in professional wrestling, which in the long run make the professional wrestling business look good. They look like jobbers and jokers, really. It's just, you know, really nothing new. We didn't really know. It was nothing earth-shattering, but it's just to the mainstream media, we don't look great for, you know, how the business treats their athletes. You have to remember, though, these reports were taken from, I believe, around just after the Benoit, so the summer of 2007, I believe. So that's, you know, I guess the time frame we gotta be. The WWE comes off, you know, to an extent, they come off pretty weak, but, you know, some people save them. Vince's lawyer does a pretty good job. Dr. David Black, who's running the steroid, the wellness policy, is doing a pretty good job of it. He came up pretty strong there, but Vince McMahon is an idiot. He came off extremely strong, or didn't come off strong at all, I should say. I mean, then again, it's Vince, and he's just trying to cover his ass. To me, the whole thing with the wellness policy was a knee-jerk reaction as how they were trying to combat the complaints. Well, how are you guys taking care of your athletes in the wake of the Eddie Guerrero death, when he, you know, was trying to brush his teeth and his heart just gave out on him? So that's how it was really. I mean, they really don't care. Look at it, like, look at the main event. No one has been suspended from there at all. To me, the Jeff Hardy thing was just to take away his push. It wasn't really like he was doing any type of drugs. I mean, yeah, he has a history of drugs in the past, but I don't think he was doing anything with steroid related at all. I mean, the wellness policy has its upsides, as, you know, it technically did save MVP's life and caught, you know, his heart disease. Him and his brother got caught with that, and it saved his life. That's in a way a good thing, but for the steroids, it's not going to affect anyone, as, you know, when they were even catching people, they'd be like, you guys can still work TV and pay-per-views, but you're not going to work house shows. Well, that's how easy it was for us to figure out who's got suspended. So, I mean, it's not the smart. It's just not going to fix anything. I mean, the WWE only cares about steroids when there's heat put on them about, you know, use of it. I mean, look back to, you know, the whole era from 1991 throughout 1994, when the product really started to suffer due to the fact that Vince didn't care because he got the trial going up against him for, you know, distribution of steroids, the whole George Zahorian deal. He eventually got proven acquitted of the case, which in a way for, you know, Vince McMahon was a good thing, but there were still people on the in and outs who were going to run the company, so that doesn't really matter there. But I mean, that's when they only care about it, is when there's heat press about that. The company that kind of looks like a joke is TNA in this whole long run. As you have to look at, I mean, they did their tests about this late January of last year, 2008, and 15 wrestlers got caught for testing positive for steroids. So, I mean, they don't even care. They're clearly letting people use the steroids and just get away with it. So it's not like it's a big deal. States that, you know, they're trying to push people who don't use steroids, where she didn't say Samoa Joe, but she clearly mentioned him as, you know, Joe has that big, bulky, fat body, which I felt they should have pushed him as a champion for a long time, and, you know, he's the perfect guy to prove that, oh, we're not doing steroids. You could have, you know, the business could have looked good for in the summer of last year when you had Punk and Joe as champions, as, you know, people who are drug and, you know, have natural bodies. So that's just, to me, what they could have done, but no one cares. People, especially WWE, they present a bigger-than-life product, so you guess your champions have to be bigger than life. When you as well look at the wellness policy, I mean, no one cares. I mean, it's easy to get away with it. I mean, look, Dave Batista just went down with a severe knee injury. I mean, cartilage was just torn. But Batista's had like a couple of those injuries so many times, which is to me a blatant sign of steroid abuse. I mean, your cartilages and stuff shouldn't tear that easy. I mean, one of the tears was when Batista just took a step. I mean, that's pretty scary. That's a blatant sign to me of steroid abuse, and it's something that needs to be worked on. I mean, the people, like I said, the people who've been getting suspended are mid-carders, are people they really don't care about, and it doesn't really affect. I mean, it's just them suspending people at random to say, look, our wellness policy is working. No, 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 no. I don't know how to think about that. I mean, that's what I really think about it. So I guess that's where you can go with that. But I mean, TNA, they try to step up a little bit, but they don't. I mean, they had this policy in place, but no one cared. I mean, the people got caught with it, and it doesn't look like they're going to enforce anything. So, I mean, it just goes to show that nothing's going to change, especially the fact that if this were to be brought up in Congress, which I seriously doubt it will, that congressman will be laughed at. I mean, the United States, or in the world as a whole, has a lot more interest in other topics than steroids and professional wrestling. I mean, especially in the United States where this, I guess, is more taking place. The United States has a lot more to worry about. They're having a whole they're having a new president coming in. Then they have President Obama then to face the biggest issue of all in the world, the economy. So to me, that's more important than anything there. Before I go here for today, I just want to make mention of a couple things. It's great that we actually get boxing now in Canada, so that is just sweet. The HBO Boxing will have Boxing After Dark has a show this Friday, and I'll make a prediction this Saturday. I'll make a prediction for that around probably Friday. So that's very good that we actually get it back in. We get boxing in Canada as well. Showbox has signed with Super Channel for their two Showtime Championship Boxing and Showbox the New Generation for both February 7th and February 21st. So that is just great that we finally get boxing. We don't have to go by illegal means to watch it. So that is sweet. Other than that, really not much to say. Anyways, leave some comments. Let's get your feedback on some of these issues. If you've seen the wrestler, thoughts on steroids, thoughts on what Bigfoot Silva did. Are you excited for this UFC Primetime? Anything you want to make mention of. As always, you can send questions. There's the emails, there's the inbox, there's the Myspace. Anyways, that's it for me. I'm out. Peace.